What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Alternative Podcast. We are back. We're doing good. As you may know, Travis has been going through some things, so several people are helping keep Hibiki TMD going, keep the channel, growing and alive and well. And so I'm here right now to keep the alternative going, but I am not alone. We do not have Travis this week, but he will be back soon. But this week we are joined by a friend of the channel, a friend to all of us in real life, and one of the nicest guys I've ever worked. This is the man actually who is responsible for getting me into podcasting. If it wasn't for my esteemed guest, you wouldn't have ever listened to my voice. He got me into it. We had an old show together called the PWR podcast, the Pro Wrestling Roundtable. Bunch of crazy shit happened on that show, but it's because of that I met guys like Travis and Logan, Hammers, anyone whose show I've ever done one way or the other. So James, thank you for joining me. What's going on?
It's going good, man. Right now, speaking of that, I'm actually doing my own stuff right now. Obviously, still podcasting, and I'm glad I was able to break you out because, you got a talent, obviously, for radio and podcasting. So I'm glad I was able to kind of help you out on that front. And let's talk some Dynamite, my dude.
I'm ready for it. Real quick, James, where can they find you on the internet?
You guys can follow me on a bunch of different places. Obviously, my main channel, which is youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. That's JHEBERTSIDE95. Right now, the indie force is going strong. We talk about pro wrestling, comic books, anime, video games, you name it. We talk about it, even other sports. It's all there in one place. We talk about everything going on in entertainment, not just pro wrestling. You can check that out on youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. And while you're there, you can also check out all the old Pro Wrestling Roundtables if for some reason that interests you in one weird way or the other, and seeing how that went down.
If you want to see what a future episode of Dark Side of the Ring is going to look like.
Yeah, right. Check that out. Obviously, it's there's a playlist for that as well. On top of that, you guys can also find my CAW Wrestling YouTube channel, Weymouth Youth Wrestling. That is youtube.com/user/WYW Pride. You can check out Immortal. Immortal's an 8-hour-long juggernaut, but it was a very, very huge hit, which shockingly has over 1,700 viewers. I still can't believe that happened. So if you guys want to check that out, check it out.
If people can sit through a 7.5-hour WrestleMania, if people can sit through WrestleMania 32, they can sure as fuck sit through an 8-hour Call wrestling match.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even just one match. It was.
Well, I know it was like your guys' is kind of like big show, your big show of the year type thing. And I mean, hey, if you look in the right video, you might find a familiar voice. I have been a part of it here and there.
Yes. And you will be a part of it going forward. I'll talk to you about that, obviously, off air. But, yeah, if you guys have nothing else to do during quarantine, it's there. I suggest you check it out. 1-year anniversary, actually, of the show this year, after April 27th. So, there you go.
It's crazy, because I remember when we were doing the PWR podcast back in the day, and every single episode you'd plug the fact that it was coming back, and I swear to me it felt like you had been doing this for so long. And I think at one point I just said, James, are you sure? Like, you say that, but it's not gonna fucking happen, man. I'm sorry.
Everybody thought that.
And then here we are 1 year later.
It's freaking nuts. Yeah, it's unbelievable, crazy. Huh? Everything's changed in like a 2-year period.
Tell me about it, man. Yeah, and if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at UberTieGuy. Keep up with what I'm doing. It's not a whole lot right now due to this whole quarantine going on in America, but we're trying to keep ourselves busy. So yeah, you can follow me there.
Yeah,
on Twitter.
We're trying not to go insane.
I already pulled a Cody Rhodes and I bleached my hair, so I mean.
Yeah, I saw that. And you got tattoos, of course. Lots changed since 2 years ago.
Right. I don't have a neck tattoo like Cody. I mean, close. I have one tattoo that's behind my ear, but it's like right behind my ear and it's small and it's a little pineapple. Fun fact about me. So I don't consider that a neck tattoo though. I just say it's behind my ear. But I haven't done something quite drastic like Cody and just get what he got right on my neck.
I thought his dream tattoo should be on his neck, and his neck tattoo should actually be where the dream tattoo is on his chest.
Yeah, honestly, I think Dream would look really cool on his neck, and then this one should be on his chest. And it's funny because when he came out, when he debuted that look, it was Twitter was ablaze right away.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people talking about it because I was looking at it and I'm just like, fuck, I can't tell you if that's real or just really fucking good-looking face paint or something like that. And then as we got closer looks at it, it didn't take me long. When it was on the turnbuckle and they kind of zoomed in, I looked down, I'm like, yep, no, that's a healed neck tattoo, right? That's real. And everybody on Twitter was so desperate for it not to be real. They were like, Cody, please fucking tell us you didn't do that. And then like the next day they posted photos of the tattoo being done at the tattoo shop, and I'm just like, fuck yes.
That was hilarious. You know what the funny thing is? Everybody was like, why did you do it? Why did you do it? And now everybody's just like, it's a thing. That's kind of what happened. It's just like, it's a thing. It's a tattoo. What can you do? And it's like the first day it happened, anyone talked about it, and then it's just like, it's just a thing now. I don't see anything said about it.
Yeah, and it's like, and if anyone knows me at all for like 10 minutes, they'll know I have a lot of tattoos. I believe I have 34 in total right now. And so I love tattoos, and I love when I love when it's weird, because for so long you're not used to it, and then they just get a
drastic tattoo, yeah.
Chris Jericho didn't have any tattoos. And then all of a sudden he comes back and he has that like one on his bicep, and then as time goes on, he just has a whole full sleeve now.
Oh my God, right.
It's so and one of my favorite instances was TJ Perkins at 205 Live. He was gone for so long, and then he came back with full sleeves, 2 chest pieces. Like I was like, what the fuck? When did that happen?
It happened when he wasn't on 205. But anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, this does segue somewhere though, because the first match of AEW Dynamite this week was the TNT Championship Tournament semifinal match between Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin.
Yep. Another great match between these two. Dude, every time they're in the ring, it's like these two have a chemistry. I swear there's not one bad match here.
I was gonna say they've had 2 other matches. The first one was a draw. Second one, Cody won. And I mean, same thing here. Cody Rhodes did get the win, which doesn't surprise me too much. I figured with the championship on the line and the fact that Cody can't challenge for the world title at all ever, apparently, it does make sense that he has a strong showing and could very well be, the first TNT champion.
Yeah. For me, this was a no-brainer that it had to be Cody, especially if he was going to be in the finals with Archer, which we'll get to that obviously later. But yeah, Cody needed the win here if they were going to do that feud properly. Darby will get his time with that belt. I don't think he needed it right away. Again, it would have been MJF or Darby in any other situation, but right now, I think given the current situation right now, it's not a normal situation. So you kind of got to work with what you got. And right now, there's really no better program for that belt to be, have it on the line between. It has to be Archer and Cody. Like that's the only match right now that kind of makes sense, considering they can't really build on anybody else right now, at least the way they would want because of all that's going on. They had awesome chemistry back and forth. At one point, Jericho screamed at Cody because he moved out of the way and Brandy was behind her, and Darby just straight up crashes into Brandy. And he's like, you're what was the word he said? You're despicable, a despicable human being, Shivani.
Right, right. I was gonna say having Jericho on commentary was such a good call. I mean, he doesn't need to wrestle at every show. He's Chris fucking Jericho. And so having him in this role where, because since he's not the champion anymore, having him in this role where we're still getting Jericho for the entire episode basically is a super smart decision on AEW's part.
Yeah, 100%. Especially considering the fact that Colt Cabana kind of shit the bed on commentary.
I thought Colt Cabana was fine.
Cody was okay, but I think Jericho is definitely the best.
I don't think either of them were bad. I just think Jericho's that good.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Cabana to me, I felt like was just like kind of taking the piss out of everything, if that makes sense.
I mean, that does make sense for Colt Cabana's character, though.
Yeah, true.
It's fair, but yeah, no, it was a fantastic match. It was cool. What I liked about the ending of the match is, I watched Dynamite this week a little before we recorded because I couldn't catch it live, and right. I knew that Cody won, but throughout the match, whenever they did the near falls or is he gonna tap or something like that, it was crazy because I'm like, wait, what the I thought Cody won. Darby's clearly about to win. And then with the ending, I was still confused because the ending happened, earlier in the match, Darby Allin.
He got his shoulder up just enough to where Cody got the visual pin. So
well, yeah, but that's the thing. So when earlier in the match when Darby, hit Cody with the crossroads, this was like a good callback to that because Cody was going to hit him with the coffin drop and then like the classic reversal that's been used a lot is just the knees up and everything like that. And then so Darby hits the coffin drop, but he rolled. And so I see that he's on top of Cody and that Aubrey Edwards is going to count the pin. And he does. But in my mind, I didn't see Cody do that. I saw that Cody's shoulder was up, but it still registered me that Darby Allin won. So when the pin happened, I'm like, oh, shit. Darby Allin did win, but then I heard Cody. I'm like, oh, it all like clicked together for me.
Yeah, it took forever. Yeah, I was confused too when I saw it, and then I realized what actually happened. He just got him in like kind of a crucifix pin after the coffin drop got hit. So yeah, that was it was an innovative finish for sure. It was definitely an innovative finish. I enjoyed this match though. What do we do for ratings? Did we just rate or a thumbs up or what?
We just say it was a good match. We don't really give like we give a grade for the end of the show, but we don't like grade each specific match.
All right, good. Yep. So I like it. It was a good match. Thumbs up from me. So good job, guys.
Yeah, this was a good one. I do have to tell this story real quick. So in one of the next segments, they had one with promo for Scorpio Sky and everything like that. But the one specifically I want to mention is the one that with MJF about how, he was healing from his hangnail, but now he like nicked his neck shaving and everything like that. But earlier in the week, I had saw a headline from one of like the verified AEW accounts, and it had said something about MJF's life-threatening injury with the hangnail. And I can't tell you why, but I worked myself into a shoot because I messaged Travis. I'm like, hey, did you hear what's happening with MJF? It was like, no, what's happening? And I said, apparently he has a hangnail, but I guess it could kill him or something. Because this whole time, I think it's real. I think this is a real thing that's happening. I'm actually convinced that MJF could actually die. And I'm like messaging Travis. I'm like, could you imagine if MJF fucking dies? That would be the craziest shit that's ever happened in pro wrestling. And Travis is like, you got me. You worked me, brother. And I'm like, no, Travis, I'm fucking serious. MJF is gonna die, dude. And Travis kind of smacks me back into reality, and he's just like, Colin, oh the fuck he isn't. He's not gonna die. It's a fucking work. And I go back on Twitter and I actually watched the fucking video with MJF talking about his hangnail, and I'm just like,
clearly tell he was being
sarcastic. I didn't watch the video. I just saw the headline and took it like it was the truth.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And so then I watched the video, and I just like, I get through it, I message Travis, and I'm just like, I can't fucking believe I let this happen. Just like, I can't believe I worked myself into a shoot.
Dude.
So if that doesn't tell you that it's still real to me, damn it, then I don't know what fucking does.
Oh, there you go.
Speaking of MJF, Wardlow was in action against some jobber who was like, fuck the coronavirus, I'm getting me a payday, and went to AEW Dynamite.
He was from Chicago. That dude traveled from Chicago to Atlanta.
I believe his name was Musa. Yeah, I think that was his name. I mean, as far as the match goes, it was a squash match. I feel like Musa got a little bit of offense, which was nice, but it was a pretty quick squash match.
He just destroyed him. Funny story about that. A little funny story on my own. So, believe it or not, so the way I watch Dynamite is I usually use the living room TV, and my mom and my stepdad actually watch a little bit of it just out of curiosity because it's a show I like. So, it's whatever. Oh, this guy likes the show. Let me watch for a bit. Yeah. So they're watching this match with Wardlow and Musa, and they're just shitting all over him. This guy's taking roids. This guy. And then they talked about how he could be on GQ Fitness, Jericho was, and she's like, yeah, more on the cover of Steroid fucking magazine. And I'm just, the whole time I'm laughing my ass off.
Jesus. Well, I know one loyal listener to the show, Mr. Rocky, son of AJ Styles, is not going to be too pleased with your mother and stepfather for that. He's a huge Wardlow fan.
Oh, I mean, hey. My mom ain't. My mom thinks she sucks. I like Wardlow, so...
He's cool.
Don't come after me. I'm just saying.
I thought his name was Warloaf when he debuted. I thought his name was fucking Warloaf when he debuted, and I was like, that's the coolest fucking name I've ever heard in pro wrestling in my life.
What's your diet regimen, Warloaf? Eat a loaf of bread, white specifically. Oh.
No, he likes a little bit of flavor. He gets that country potato.
Hey, those are my people, man. Don't go after the potato famine.
He's a big man. Anyways, it was a squash match. Not much to it. Just simple squash match. At least Wardlow's getting that paycheck while his mentor, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, is on death's fucking door, apparently. At least to me, he is.
The funny thing about it is I enjoyed the little offense he did get. He definitely has some athleticism to him, but out of all the jobbers that have appeared on this string of Dynamites, on a completely unrelated note to a degree, my favorite one, honestly, has been Alan Angels. I think they should sign him. You remember the guy that fought Kenny Omega a couple weeks ago?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bad person. I have not seen Dynamite in a few weeks. This was the first episode, so I haven't seen.
Alan Angel. I'll send you clips of what he was able to do. I think he has a very unique style to him. I think, and AEW likes their moveset, so that's why I'm like, this guy should be signed for that reason alone. So yeah, and hey, maybe him and what's his name? The guy that fought Wardlow? I forget his name already. Musa. Maybe him and Musa could be a tag team because they kind of look similar in a way. But right. I digress. Just figured I'd bring that out there. I like Alan Angels.
All right. You heard it here first.
There you go.
All right. Up next was a match that I didn't know it was happening when I didn't hear anything about it, so I didn't know this match was happening. But up next, it was the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy versus Kip Sabian and Jimmy fucking Havoc. Penelope Ford was also out there. I'm a huge Jimmy Havoc fan. I think he's fucking great. I think he's cool as shit. Him and I had the same haircut for a while. I talked to him about it on Twitter. I think I asked him one time if during Mania weekend I could buy him a beer. And he didn't say yes, but he did not say no. He said, we'll see. And so I'm like, cool. I'm gonna drink with Jimmy Havoc one day, and I swear to God, if I don't, I'm gonna be real upset. Anyways, the match kicked off pretty fucking quick. I mean, once Havoc and Sabian were in the ring, best friends made their entrance, and they stepped through the ropes, and it was an ambush pretty quick.
Dude, poor Orange Cassidy just gets the freaking thing of a lifetime with a steel chair.
Say during the match, Jimmy Havoc walked out to the ring. He was gonna hit one of the best friends with the chair, and then he just turns around and just chucks it at Orange Cassidy's face.
That was just brutal. He just went full on Sabu, and he's just like frick. And he falls to the ground like in a heap. The way Orange Cassidy sold that, the guy's underrated sometimes, man. I don't think people realize.
Orange Cassidy is underrated all of the fucking time. Dude, are you kidding me? Orange Cassidy.
He sold this like he was dead for the longest time before he finally got back up and, did his thing from the top rope and shit.
Orange Cassidy. It's not a secret to anyone who listens to the show. I'm a huge Orange Cassidy fan. I have the denim jacket to prove it. So, yeah, I'm big on Orange Cassidy. Really, really dope. I actually watched one of his old matches the other day. It was him versus the Velveteen Dream in an Evolve match, and it was really.
I saw that in my recommended, actually.
I did too. It was a fantastic match. It was really good. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, really surprised though with the ending of this match because, like I said, I didn't know this match was happening, so I didn't know who was going to win when I watched it, and I was pretty certain the best friends were going to lose. But to my surprise, fucking I think it was Trent with a fucking pile driver into a stack of chairs for Jimmy Havoc.
It was Chucky T with the pile driver.
All right, even better, even fucking better,
bro. That pile driver was scary. I straight up said, "Oh fuck!" After it happened, I was afraid that poor Havoc got his neck broken or something like that. Looked like it sucked.
Jimmy Havoc would love that though.
I'm sure he does, but I'm just hoping his neck ain't fucking broke. That's all I care about. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit because it's Jimmy Havoc, but I'm like looking at that and I'm just thinking, oh God. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Like that, like, I don't know. I don't know how you could do that safe, but they did it. I'm sure they did.
Hey, they did it and Best Friends got the win. This was probably the strongest the Best Friends have looked in, I think, ever, probably.
Yeah, honestly, they should be, just from this match alone, they should probably be the next in line for the tag team belts.
It's pretty close, at least. They did a fantastic job. They got the win. They're meant to be a team that's like, they're a joke, but they can be taken as a serious fucking threat at the same time. And that's this match clearly showed the fact that they can be taken as a threat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even to mention the fact as well, like, obviously it's building on that story that, obviously it's mentioning that story between, Trent and Kenny Omega, how, like, Trent took him to the limit. So,
yeah.
It's very, I like the continuity with AEW. I've always been the biggest fan of AEW's continuity. While I'm not saying they're perfect all the time, they usually get like even the smallest bits more often than not, like, even down pat. So that's what I appreciate. They don't treat the fans like they're stupid.
I like that because they acknowledge the fact that they come elsewhere. If you watch NXT, Raw, SmackDown, it's those people only exist in WWE's world.
Yeah, which is frustrating because you're just like, that's why it's like, and not only to mention that, it's like even they barely mention their indie past, and when they do, it's like it was just a blimp on the radar. But now we're creating the stars. Where here in AEW, it's just like they're letting the guys be themselves, and everyone feels different. There's no, and even the promo packages, which I'm sure we're going to get to in a minute. But like even this episode in particular, the video packages felt like there was no sameness to any of the video packages or interviews. Like it all felt different to some degree. which I appreciate when watching a wrestling show. I can sit for 2 hours and enjoy it because nothing feels the same, and I enjoy what they're presenting to me. So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Here comes everybody saying, "Oh, Jay Hebert signed 95. He's just an AEW mark. Oh, no, he's just an AEW mark." Yeah, angry typing keyboard warriors.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. Breaking news: Paul Bear is back from the dead.
What?
That's what you sounded like to me. You sounded like Paul Bear.
Oh yes.
Exactly.
Fucking hell. My bad. I was trying to sound like a troll. That's all I was trying to sound like.
It worked out. Up next was Sean Spears, one of my boys, versus some guy. This one whose name I don't remember. He didn't impress me as much as Musa did.
That guy lost really, really badly, and Sean Spears just destroyed him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little
Sean
bit.
Spears looked in a while. By the way,
this is the first time Sean Spears has wrestled in a while.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Christ, I haven't seen him in forever, and it was good. I liked it. I mean, the match itself wasn't great. I mean, it was a squash match. Everything we said about Wardlow and his squash match could easily be said for this one, and so. Yeah, Sean Spears got the win though. I'm told that he has the blessing from Bret Hart to use the sharpshooter, which is what he got the victory with.
Which is great.
Yeah, I mean Bret Hart's
he does a very good sharpshooter. I'll give him credit.
He does, and I mean, hey, Bret Hart's a pretty damn good endorsement.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think the funny thing is it can't be any worse. If people think his sharpshooter isn't that great, it can't be any worse than The Rock's.
Yeah, The Rock's not good.
Yeah, no.
Wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't.
Not much to say about that match. Do you have anything?
Yeah, that guy who fought Sean Spears kind of got destroyed. Sean Spears won.
I mean, that's it. That's it right there.
There you go.
I don't remember where exactly this was in the show, but I need to talk about it anyways. First of all, if anyone is not aware of this, I am what is known as quote-unquote TikTok famous.
Oh, shit.
End quote. And so, so I use TikTok. I'm a huge fan of the app. And I wasn't aware of this, but apparently in the show, they've been using TikTok for various promo packages. And they did something last week that was a challenge between all of them. And
the segment he's talking about is the Bubbly Bunch, by the way, but this was last week, and they referenced it, but instead of saying TikTok, it was called the Flim Flam.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And so... But this week they were just doing this thing where they, it's like a challenge that's on TikTok, and the WWE Diva. God damn it! What am I stuck in 2006?
WWE Divas. Yeah,
God, fuck me. The WWE women did a challenge where they pull away, put a makeup brush, they come back, and they look all they're ready to fight or whatever the fuck it was. The guys did it, other people have done it, and so this was like...
The referees did it, actually.
Yeah, exactly. That was my favorite one, because I love seeing referees in their natural habitats, because it's so strange.
That's what they referenced here with this one, didn't they?
Yeah, that's exactly this was. It was the same thing, but it was like, they beat the screen with something if they punch it or they throw something or whatever, and it pulls away. And at first it makes sense, it was members of the Inner Circle, and then, Paul Avalon was there. And then, fucking, I think one of them was Lanny Poffo.
Peter Avalon, you mean?
Whatever the fuck I said. And then it just gets weirder and weirder. They pull away and fucking Chris Jericho's dad is there. And, and I swear to God, I'm pretty sure one of the people from Tiger King was in this. I'm not making that up. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Here's a funny thing too. Lou Ferrigno was in it. Freaking Fluffy Guy. Freaking Gabriel Iglesias was in it. Like, just
my
these
favorite one.
random people show up.
My favorite one was Peter Dinklage. Not fucking Peter Dinklage. Fuck. Shit. Who's the short comedian? Who's? Oh God, he was on the Chris Jericho cruise.
I don't remember. I think it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. Fuck this shit, right? It wasn't him. Was it?
No. God, no. I wish he was there. No.
No, I don't remember. But it might have been Peter Dinklage. I
think
there was two. There was two midgets there.
No, it wasn't Peter. No, it was Brad Williams.
Brad Williams, right.
Right, it was Brad Williams.
And then Jericho was like marking out, that was the best ever. And
then he just pulls out, was that Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah, he just goes, was that Lou Ferrigno? It was fucking hysterical, bro. That was hilarious to me.
I was saying, that's one of the best segments I've ever seen in a fucking wrestling show, no matter what company it was.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is, too? Just, again, the show, no sameness to it, and this was like your comedic break here, which I enjoyed. I highly enjoyed. Meanwhile, I bet you 100% Jim Cornette's just having some conniption fit. Wrestling isn't supposed to be comical.
Well, it's no secret. I can't speak for Travis, but I can speak for me. I am a huge proponent of the fuck Jim Cornette movement. So,
believe it or not, I'm with you now.
Jim Cornette's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I don't like Jim Cornette.
Well, the funny thing is, like, he is a genius in aspects. But it gets ruined when he just gets so, what's the word? Stuck in his ways, I guess is the best way to put it, that he'll literally threaten people's lives and just say a bunch of outlandish shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, give me a fucking break. You're like in your 50s and you're acting like a man-child. Like, that's what ruins it for me, and I just can't deal with the guy anymore.
I kept trying to tell people Joey Ryan was onto something, but no one wanted to fucking listen.
He was right. He was right. I literally straight up apologized to Joey Ryan because I shit on him for so long, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe he's right.
What I was telling you, man. Speaking of shit shows and just people getting demolished everywhere, up next was Brody Lee. So fucking glad he made it to AEW. Before this whole shit happened. I mean, well, he didn't really, but I mean, he's there. It's happening. Brody Lee versus Marco Stunt. I'm a huge fan of Marco Stunt. I like the Jurassic Express. I think Marco Stunt's cool. He's a legit 5'2", and that's pretty short for a man. And I mean, you stick him next to most anyone, and he's very noticeably small. Especially if you stick him next to a guy like Lance Archer or Brody Lee. And despite the fact that, he just gets tossed around and he loses these matches, he looks so credible in them, though. You really think he has a chance to do it.
Yeah, to a degree. He definitely, makes it look like, hey, I'm the underdog in this fight, and just tries to, fight from underneath. And that's what I always liked that about Marco. And I thought he cut a hell of a promo, too, before the show as well.
That was a really good promo that he cut. It gave me like Spider-Man vibes. Like he really looks like someone who I want to see play Spider-Man. Only because I really want to see what it looks like with him trying to pull all that fucking hair under the mask. That's what I really want to see.
Well, which Spider-Man? We talking about the early 2000s movies? We talking about now?
I'm talking about any. I just want him as Spider-Man in anything.
Fair enough.
But it was a quick match. Brody Lee gets the win with the power bomb. I mean, Brody Lee's already one of the top heels in AEW. And I mean, I'm really glad because, I mean, he didn't do jack shit in WWE for so fucking long.
I'm just glad he's somewhat, getting rid of, what is it? He kind of ditched after the first few weeks of doing it, he's kind of strayed away from, I'm just a play on Vince McMahon. Now he's kind of trying to be his own thing now. So, because that was bugging me after, the third week. I'm like, okay, we get it. You don't like Vince. Trust me, we get it.
Who does these days?
Yeah, I sure as hell don't. I told everybody he was an asshole. No one wanted to believe me.
But yeah, it was good one. And yeah, I'm excited for Brody Lee. I'm looking forward to see what Marco Stunt can do. I think Marco Stunt will make a good TNT champion one day. Really looking forward to see, who they give those opportunities to. But speaking of the TNT championship, that brings us to the main event of the show, which is Lance Archer versus Dustin Rhodes in the semifinals.
Before we get to that, did we mention the Scorpio Sky promo? We got to talk about that.
I mean, I mentioned it, but we didn't really talk about it.
I really enjoyed how they're making him. That you can clearly tell they're making him as a single star. Like that, he's going to break away on his own, and Daniels and Kaz are going to be kind of like his backing. That's what it felt like to me. Like, because I could see this guy as top tier if they really wanted to push him in that spot, and he could either go for the TNT belt or the AEW World Title. Like, he's so credible to me. I really enjoyed his video packages throughout this string of Dynamite. I thought that this was definitely his best one when he was talking about how he joined Bad Influence and they became SoCal Uncensored. Really enjoyed how they told that history, and I'm glad that they actually mentioned that it was 2 years ago and not saying, oh, it just happened magically in AEW. So there you go. I enjoyed it. So that's my little take on that.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. It was fantastic. I think Scorpio Sky really does have a chance to break out and be a good single star. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. Yes.
By the way, it just occurred to me that with that no DQ match with the tag teams, that was announced by Trent. Trent issued the challenge last week on Dynamite. That's probably why you were confused about it.
I just didn't hear anything about it on Twitter when Dynamite was happening, so I guess I just avoided it good enough. So yeah, but I figured as much. I know they've been kind of beefing, so
there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, now it's the main event: Lance Archer, Dustin Rhodes, semifinal match to determine who goes to the finals versus Cody for the TNT Championship. I like this match a lot. Now, it's no secret, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm a huge Lance Archer fan. Him and I kind of have a back and forth every now and then on Twitter about mint chocolate chip ice cream being, either good or bad. I'm on the side that it's the best ice cream there is. Every time I tell him that, he wants to kill me, and it's my favorite fucking interaction I've ever had on Twitter with a wrestler.
Okay, I thought he was like, yeah, I really enjoy chocolate chip. No, so basically you say that you enjoy chocolate chip, mint chocolate chip, and then he's like, you can fucking die.
Pretty much, yeah, because he hates it. And it's like, him and I go back and forth on it every now and then, and I fucking love him. I love Lance Archer. So, I mean, yeah, I'm a huge Lance Archer fan. I'm also a really huge Dustin Rhodes fan. Goldust was always, one of my favorite personas when I started watching wrestling. I always said he was my third favorite wrestler growing up. When I started to watch wrestlers, my three favorites were Triple H, Kane, and Goldust. That's a trivia fact for you. So I was really excited for this match, and it fucking delivered.
Yeah,
I fucking love this match.
Dude, this could have been this match was so good. It could have been on pay-per-view, honestly.
I mean, I'm curious how the tournament would have worked out if, life wasn't being what life is right now. So, I mean, it could have been. They might have done that, but, we'll see.
I'm definitely glad with how they did it because I feel like Lance is going to be the first TNT champion, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be a really cool way to establish him right away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, even if he doesn't win, this match in general with Dustin really put him on the map, I feel like. If you didn't know, and here's the funny thing, everybody's like, oh, here's Jake the Snake's job is to get Lance Archer over, and I'm like, he is getting him over, it's just because it's Jake the Snake Roberts, and you hadn't heard him cut a promo in so damn long that, it's just like, oh my god, he's so good, he hasn't lost a step. Trust me, I even said this prior to this match, Lance Archer is going to get himself over in a big way in the ring. Just give it time. this is the match that got him over. 100%. This match put him on the map outstandingly as a vicious killer who will do anything to win a match, including just slamming his head over and over and over and over again into the canvas while looking Cody dead in the eyes, straight up, without even saying it. Everybody motherfucking dies. I thought this match, the way they built this from beginning to end, was just brilliant. Like, Dustin looked vulnerable, but not too vulnerable that he didn't have that he lost all credibility. He just was outpowered by this behemoth of a man. And that's the story they told here. And even Jericho selling the fact, and this is why I like him over Cabana, because Cabana was taking the piss out of everything, in my opinion. Jericho, even though he's feuding with the Rhodes family, even felt sympathy for poor Dustin. And I was just like, this is just genius. I fucking loved everything about this. Hell of a match to close the show, and just that stare is just nightmare fuel, bro. Like that stare when the Rhodes were in the ring together and he just stared them all down. Mwah, magnifique.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the ending was great. Lance Archer, yeah, I agree with what you said. Like, I mean, he was all. I mean, if you followed him in New Japan, you already know he's.
You already know
fantastic.
how good Lance Archer was. Like, you already know how vastly he improved after his WWE stint. Like, now he's come into his own since joining AEW.
Right. Well, I mean, he came into his own before that. I mean, once Davey Boy Smith left New Japan, and I wish I could remember their tag team name. It was pretty great.
The Killer Elite Squad.
Yeah, that's the fucking one. Once he left, he started tag teaming with other people. But, that singles run he had as the IWGP United States Championship, once Moxley had to vacate the belt, he had a fantastic singles run. And it was such a good run. And, they ended it the right way with him losing it back to Moxley, because now Moxley could, he could go to Japan and, win the belt again. And they did it so well.
The funny thing about that is, too, and this is why I like what they did here, they knew that program was great in Japan. They knew that program could get over in the U.S. I think in a year's time, we're going to see Moxley lose the belt to Archer just as a sheer shot of revenge by Archer. And they're going to mention that history with the U.S. title. Guaranteed.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, it was fantastic. The ending when, are they going to throw in the towel and everything? And he just fucking pulls Dustin out of the corner, just smashes his fucking head into the ground, and looks, just the death there, just looks Cody right in the fucking eyes as the ref counts to 3.
Good storytelling. That was so good because
it was such good shit, says Vince McMahon during the fucking
but this actually was
match.
This was actually good shit, and the reason why it was so good is because
House of Horrors match was good shit. You fucking kidding me?
It was, but in this case, I enjoyed what they did here because the continuity of Cody had the towel thrown in by MJF. Dustin didn't want that done, and he's like, hell no, you're not throwing it in for me. And he just, after that, he just got his head smashed into the canvas over and over again. Archer right here. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Archer versus Cody. It wasn't what my bracket final said it was going to be, but it really should. Like, that was my first idea. Was like, it's like I predicted it right when I first thought about it, and then I'm just like, nah, it ain't gonna be Cody and Archer. They're gonna cost each other the matches. I'm pretty sure I went with Dustin versus Allen in the final, which is one I really would have liked to see, because there's a story there with that too.
It would have been good, but I think this was much better in the sense of what they were telling. And
this is definitely the right call for sure.
Honest to God, I think first off, I think the tournament would have been much bigger had this whole thing not happened, and I honestly think it would have been MJF and Darby Allin in the finals. So, you got to work with what you got, and this was the better alternative, to be honest.
I think they would have I think they would have gone with Cody and MJF. I think they would have wanted to revisit that one more time.
Yeah, true.
I think that would have been a good final.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually, now that you bring it up, because that would have actually made Cody get his win back on MJF.
Yeah. So it would have been good. It would have been good.
And they could have put the Dynamite ring on the line on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, altogether, I thought this was a pretty decent episode of Dynamite. I mean, it wasn't, go out of your way to watch it, but it wasn't bad either. I enjoyed my time. I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh, please be over. So, I mean, I'll give the show a solid B. James, how about you?
I give it a B+ because I think the promo packages really kind of brought it up a notch for me. I enjoyed the Scorpio Sky promo. I enjoyed Marco Stunt's time on the microphone. I enjoyed the Dr. Britt Baker promo, which we didn't even get into, but that was freaking gold.
That was pretty good.
That was comedic gold. I think that's why I really, really enjoyed this episode, was just because of the promo packages. And you had like a couple squash matches just to kind of get yourself like a little calmed down, especially after that no DQ tag match. So yeah, no, they did pretty damn well here. I thought they structured the show properly. So yeah, B+ for me. Now here's the question, because they're going to go back to being live next Wednesday. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, well, it could work. I mean, the fans still aren't going to be there. They're just going to go back to it being live, which I think it'll be interesting. I think the feel of the show will be a little bit different than it has been the last couple weeks when it was just taped. It does award opportunities for other people to come back again. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah,
I assume they'll still be doing the thing where, hey, if you don't want to show up, you don't have to. There's no problem. You won't get in trouble type thing. And they'll still just keep using the people who are willing to show up and everything like that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The other thing, too, is I really enjoy how AEW does these shows with no fans. And every show that they did, it was brilliant in the fact that they had heel wrestlers on one side of the arena and the babyface wrestlers on the other side, so there was still ambiance of noise there. And then it's like you go to WWE and every match is an empty arena match, and it sucks the life out of you.
I had said that on one of the episodes, the alternative, before shit hit the fan too much. That AEW Dynamites, I like their approach with using the people there to have noise, have crowd chants, people booing and cheering and picking sides and shit. I'm pretty sure I heard some of them singing Cody's theme song when he was making his entrance in the beginning of the show.
That was hilarious.
And so it's way better than having absolutely fucking no one at ringside. And I mean, haven't hated WWE shows, but I like Dynamite's better right now, just because it's not a lot, but crowd noise, even a little crowd noise is better than absolutely no crowd noise.
Are you aware of how they're going to be testing their athletes, that they're actually doing proper testing, like saliva testing, piss testing, temperature testing, and then you hear in WWE it's just like, oh, we'll just take your temp, it's fine.
I haven't heard about that, but I don't doubt it.
So yeah, that just I found out we're actually going to talk about that on the Indie Force. There, a little cheap plug there, but yeah, we're going to talk about how AEW, just in an all-around sense, I feel like handled this pandemic issue way better than WWE did. And it's only their first year?
AEW hasn't fired 50 people.
Yeah, and speaking of which, and we can end it off this. Do you think Curtis Axel, he's one of the recent releases?
I heard about him today, yeah.
Would he go to AEW, or do you think he would go somewhere like an NWA or an Impact?
Gosh. I mean, the thing is, the only thing he has going for him, really, is the fact that his name is Henning.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
and
though.
I feel like that might get him some sort of spot on possibly NWA when, shit opens back up again. But, he has to really work on it. Because, I mean, Curtis Axel has never been... he's been an interesting character 2 or 3 times in, the 10 years he spent there. So, I mean... And I like Curtis Axel. I do. But, it's just like, you can't you can't, unless your last name is Flair or Rhodes, you can't really ride your name to success all the time.
I don't know about that. Here's my theory on that. Say Cody wins the TNT Championship at some point, and they bring Curtis Axel in, or in this case Joe Henning. I assume they just use his real name. That's a natural feud to go on, especially if you consider the fact that the history in WCW where Perfect was in WCW and had an epic rivalry with Flair. Dusty Rhodes always looked up to Ric Flair. You can use that kind of family history and lineage to kind of build a feud there and possibly get Curtis Axel as like a TNT champ and like a new star with a new lease on life. And like, look at how many people they've done it with already. John Moxley, has a whole new lease on life right now with the AEW World Championship, and everybody's like, well, he's another former WWE guy with a completely different name and a completely different gimmick and just looks liberated to be there. It's not even, you compare Dean Ambrose to John Moxley, it's like two different people. So I don't doubt that they could do the same thing for Joe Henning. So we'll see what happens.
All I'll say to that is Curtis Axel is not getting signed to AEW before Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, and Heath Slater do. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
That's all I'm going to say to that. Anyways, That was Dynamite. You've heard our reviews. You heard our grades. James, where can they check you out on the interwebs?
Well, again, you guys can follow me on youtube.com/user/jhebertside95. That's JHEBERTSIDE95. Home of the Indie Force podcast. We are actually going to be releasing our new episode, Indie Force episode 8, tomorrow. That's going to be covering a bunch of different topics. We're going to be talking about the some MCU, Venom, and a bunch of other action movies kind of delayed until this coronavirus stuff goes over. The Samurai Jack video game, Streets of Rage 4, The Wolf Among Us, Cyberpunk 2077, Star Wars news. We also got a big rant by my friend Mike Nikos with The Last of Us 2.
Oh, bro, I was gonna ask you about that. Did you see the Last of Us 2 spoilers?
Yeah.
Oh. Bro, yeah. Holy shit, that was insane.
Yeah.
We won't spoil it here on The Alternative, but holy fuck, that was wild.
Yeah. Yep. And
I have no idea how I feel about it. On one hand, I think it's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, and on the other hand, God, I love a good fucking plot twist.
I'm also gonna give an idea on top of that of AEW Dynamite if they were to merge with Impact Wrestling and have two shows to their disposal. So I actually have a booking idea. If you guys want to check that episode out, it will be on that channel. We also cover everything that we pretty much talked about. It was actually last week's Dynamite, I'm pretty sure we talked about, but, you kind of got the gist of that already when you see it. But, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much where you can find me there. And then, obviously, Weymouth Youth Wrestling, youtube.com/user/WYW Pride, Immortals there. Check it out.
Fantastic. You can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy. See what I'm up to in life, see what fucking color I've dyed my hair, see what new stupid tattoo I've gotten. It's all there. It's all there. You can find my TikTok linked in my bio on Twitter. I'm not gonna tell you here. You got to really work for it to find out.
There you go.
But that's where you can catch me. James, thanks for joining me this week. Travis seems to be making some good progress. So I mean, who knows what when Travis will be back, but yeah, James, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad I was able to be on, and hey, who knows, maybe I can be on for futures as a third guest. You never know.
I mean, maybe you're a hell of a lot better than most of the people we've had on this show.
Really? Is it that bad?
That's me turning heel. I'm kidding. We've only really had one bad experience, but everyone else was fine. I just wanted to turn heel on everyone for a second. But yeah,
Colin Dunn, the MJF of the Hibiki TMD podcast, confirmed.
Right. Make sure you follow Travis